As you all know by now, WarioWare for the Game Boy Advance is our first game of the month this year, and when approached to ask what I'd like to talk about in regards to this, my mind immediately jumped to the interesting and colourful characters found within these games. So I figured I'd cover the characters and their associated microgames to see if we can learn more about just who they are and how they live. And what better place to start than with the leading man himself, Wario. At the beginning, Wario's just hanging out watching TV when a news report claims that video game sales are up, and Wario, being the scheming, get-rich-quick gent that he is, runs out to get a laptop and start making games. But then soon realises that making games is hard, so he asks his friends for help in making games, and thus, WarioWare Inc. was invented. Everybody knows Wario from his adventures and parties alongside Mario. Mostly Wario considered to be the bad guy, anti-hero or simply a neutral party. For this series, they greatly changed his basic character design. My guess is simply to help the series stand out on its own. If you saw Wario in his usual plumber outfit, people may just assume it's another basic run and jump Mario game. So this time around he's sporting a fancy new hat and biker clothes. Wario's microgames are very basic introductory games. Not too much challenge here understandably, as these games are designed to get you used to how WarioWare as a whole works. Microgame starts up, you have about 8 seconds to figure out what you're supposed to be doing, and win. Since this is the GBA, most games consist of just pressing the A button at a specific time or moving with the D-pad. Pretty straightforward, especially in comparison to the more recent WarioWare games. And after you beat all of Wario's games, he passes you off to his friend Jimmy T. Jimmy Thang is his name, but you can call him Jimmy T. He's a disco dancer with an affinity for cats. We first see him going to a nightclub and disco dancing his heart out. The club just can't handle him right now, so he pulls out his cell phone and the games begin. Jimmy T's microgames are sports themed. These range from skiing to skating and football or soccer for the more pedantic of you out there. They aren't particularly difficult as they're for the most part just timing, pressing the A button correctly, which is the case with most of the microgames throughout WarioWare. Moving on though, we have Mona. Mona's character is always portrayed working in some manner, besides the occasional difference like in Smooth Moves where she is a cheerleader, but I suppose even that has worked to some degree. But it is typically a normal working job. For example, in the original WarioWare that we're covering today, she works at the ice cream shop where everybody gathers, and this ties into her set of games as she is late for work and has to rush on her bike to get there in time, with little help from her, bike? Animal things? I don't know. They help her outrun a massive armada of cops. I don't know about you, but something tells me that there's an easier way to handle the police than by attacking them. Moving on to our games, which are categorised as strange. There's often household objects like toothbrushes or paper airplanes, but then you get some really strange ones, such as having to make an anime girl sniff stuff back up into her nose. Just beautiful. Dribble and Spits are next, a dog and a cat who work as taxi drivers, but somehow end up getting into all kinds of strange situations. We follow them as they drive around looking for a fare, when suddenly a gent hops in the back and requests to go to the ocean. Their game category is sci-fi, so things like superheroes and spaceships. Although for whatever reason, some of Wario's games are thrown in there too, so you'll find yourself playing games that you've already played, but it has a very nice space shooter as the boss battle, which just shows the level of effort that's gone into this game. I've played full space shooter games that weren't as entertaining as this. Dr. Krygor is a loopy scientist with artificial enhancements. These enhancements are never really talked about too much except the more obvious of them. This one, however, focusing on his jetpack. Krygor's microgames fall under the genre of reality, which is a quick way of saying games with references to real life happenings. Things such as household pets and things which happen in real life basically. Very strange choice of games, but impressively imaginative nonetheless. Kat is a ninja girl, typically appearing alongside her sister Anna. In this particular scenario, you're mainly in control of Kat. Not that you actually control her, but you catch my drift. This particular set of microgames has a very neat story going on. The prince has been possessed by an evil spirit, and try as she might, Anna couldn't defeat it. So she sends her help, seeking her sister Kat, who travels across the land to her aid. When she arrives, we jump into the microgames. Successful completion of which causes Kat to reach the top of the building, where she vanquishes the evil spirit. My favourite thing about this is just how well it rolls with the anime-style Japanese aesthetic to the whole thing. The strange music during the games and the Japanese characters, it certainly takes you out of WarioWare for a moment and into the realm of Kat and Anna. Last but not least, we have our unlucky spacefaring alien, Orbulon. While travelling nearby Earth, Orbulon's spacecraft is struck by an asteroid, or a meteorite. Is there a difference? So his ship is in peril and he seeks aid in the form of a ship full of bunny people, who rush to help. Oibulon's set of microgames are in the IQ genre, these games requiring a bit more thinking than the other games, as such they're slightly longer to boot. And that covers all the characters found in the original WarioWare. I hope you learned a lot, because I sure did. WarioWare is an excellent game which has given me many hours of enjoyment over the years. Its vibrant characters and charming stories are just the cherry on top of an ice cream sundae that is already the enjoyable concept of the microgames.